Well, this question is a kind of a very different one from the others we've been doing, all right? But it's very simple as well. Yeah, we can actually deal with it. Now, it goes that if alpha squared plus 1 and beta squared plus 1 are the roots of this equation, then find the equation whose roots are alpha and beta. So this is like a reverse direction. What we've been doing the other times will be that if alpha and beta are the roots of a certain equation, then find the equation whose roots are, then they now give us an expression for the two new roots, or for the two roots of the new equation, or for the roots of the equation we are to find. But in this other case, we are already given an expression in terms of alpha and beta. This in terms of alpha, this one is in terms of beta, as the roots, right, of this equation. Then we have to find an equation whose roots are just alpha singly and beta just like that, a reverse direction. This is also simple. So we'll continue to use what we use, alright? We know that A is equal to 3, B is negative 4, and C is just positive 1, alright? Okay. Well, since alpha squared plus 1 and beta squared plus 1 are the roots of the equation, it means that the sum of the roots will give us negative b over a, alright? It implies that the sum of the roots, that is alpha squared plus 1 plus beta squared plus 1 will give us negative b, right? Let me just put this down. Negative b over a. So that is negative of b is just negative 4. A is just 3, right? So that will become negative of negative 4 over 3. That's just 4 over 3. So I would like to clean things up. I'll just put it down. 4 over 3, right? And again, their product, that is alpha squared plus 1 times beta squared plus 1, will just give us positive c over a, where c is just 1 and a is 3. That is just 1 over 3, like that, right? Okay, so that is very nice. We have that their sum will be 4 over 3 and the product will just be 1 over 3. Well, let me go ahead and give these guys some names. Let me call this 1 as usual, and I circle it, and this is 2. Okay, now this is what I would like to do. I will see that from 1, let's simplify the expression on the left-hand side a little bit. So we're going to have, from 1, we're going to have alpha squared plus beta squared plus 2 is equal to 4 over 3, right? No, alpha squared plus beta squared, 1 plus 1 is going to be 2. Maybe just keep this alpha squared plus beta squared here. That will be 4 over 3 minus 2, right? Subtracting 2 from both sides. Okay, so you know 4 over 3 is the same thing as 1.33333333. The 3 keeps on repeating without an end. So if you subtract 2 from that, you're going to get negative 0.67. That means alpha plus beta square is going to become negative 2 over 3. Alright? Just check that out. You're going to see that. Alright. So from here, well, let me pause here and say something. You know, we have to find an equation whose roots are alpha and beta. Alright? In other words, we have to find an equation, and the equation will be of this form. So let me just put it down. To find x squared minus x plus equal to 0. So if you have an equation whose roots are alpha and beta, it means that alpha plus beta will give us the coefficient of x, alright? And the negative of that. Then alpha times beta will just give us the constant term. So we have to find the sum of the two roots and the product of the two roots, so that we just put it into this form, and that will be the equation, okay? So our aim here will be to get something alpha plus beta and to get something for alpha times beta, right? Okay, so let me just put this down. Okay, so we continue that alpha plus beta square, alpha square plus beta square is equals to negative 2 over 3. Now if you can, I don't know if you can see that this is a little bit awkward. You know, alpha square, you know, you just squared something, the result is going to be non-negative. It's either going to be 0 or greater than 0. For all the numbers you can, for all the real numbers, if you say negative 1, square of negative 1 will be positive 1. Square of negative 10, okay, will be positive 100. So, whatever number you have, if you square that number, the result will be greater than 0 or equal to 0. If that number is 0, that's the case. And the same thing for b. So if you're adding two numbers, which is non-negative, how then do we have a negative result? So this is a little bit awkward, but by the way, we will just play around with it and we are going to observe what it will give us anyway. So from here, I would like to go ahead and rewrite this as alpha plus beta all squared minus 2 alpha beta, and I call that negative 2 over 3. Now, again, you know, if you expand this, you're going to have alpha squared plus beta squared plus 2 alpha beta minus 2 alpha beta will leave us with alpha squared plus beta squared. So that is just it. Okay, so from here we can see this is the sum and this is just the product, alright? Maybe I just call this something. Maybe I just keep it somewhere. I just call it star, like this, using the red ink. Okay. I will also refer to the second equation from equation 2, alright? So from 2, what do we get? Well, we see that to expand this on the left hand side, we're going to have alpha times beta all square plus alpha square plus beta square plus 1 is equals to 1 over 3. Like that, alright? Okay. Well, now, very nice. Maybe I didn't even need to do something here. Very nice. We see that alpha square plus beta square is here, alright? This is it. And it was equal to negative 2 over 3. So in place of alpha square plus beta square, I will just put negative 2 over 3 there, right? Okay, so I'll just have to put this up. We're going to have alpha times beta all square. Then in place of alpha square plus beta square, it is negative 2 over 3. So I'll just put it down, negative 2 over 3. And now add it with 1, plus 1 should give us 1 over 3. So here I can get my value for alpha times beta, very simple. Then that means that we're going to have negative 2 over 3 plus 1 is going to give us positive 1 over 3. Okay, so that means that alpha times beta all square plus 1 over 3 is equal to 1 over 3. Now look at this. You are adding 1 over 3 to something. It still gives you 1 over 3 as a result. Then that thing must be 0. Alright? So this is alpha times beta all square is equal to 0, which implies that alpha times beta is 0. So that is for the product. So maybe here I would just like to put 0 for it. Let me just indicate that this is equal to 0. So we just need to get their sum, right? This question is very, very interesting anyway. For the sum of the two roots, well, we can get that from this star, right? This one that I started over here. We can get that from star. Let me just put it down from star. And I circled it. We see that alpha plus beta, all of them square. Now, since alpha times beta is equal to 0, alright? So, alpha times beta will be 0, and 0 times negative 2 will just be 0. So, that means alpha square plus beta square, alpha plus beta all square will be equal to negative 2 over 3, because this term is just equal to 0, alright? The whole of that is just equal to 0. That means that alpha plus beta will be equal to square root of 2 over 3, negative of that. So to get alpha plus beta, we just need to take the square of both sides. So square of both sides, we have negative 2 over 3, the square of that. Here is the awkward stuff. You're having a square root of a negative number. The result is not going to be a real number anyway. But we are not concerned with that, alright? So we just have to take the square root of negative 2 over 3 in place of this. So it's going to be square root of negative 2 over 3. Maybe I just have to rewrite that. I don't like it that way. Maybe I'll just have to split that into 2 by putting it this way. Square root of negative 2 on top divided by square root of 3 at the bottom, alright? So, okay, so that makes sense. And this is a fraction which I would like to get rid of it a little bit. Oh my God. Let me just put it down anyway. Negative 2 divided by square root of 3. Okay, I'll clean a little part of this board and I will give us the equation we were to find. Now we are going to have x squared minus alpha plus beta is now square root of negative 2 over square root of 3x plus alpha times beta is 0, so there is no point if this is just equal to 0. Well, since this is a fraction, I would just like to multiply square root of 3 throughout in the equation. We're going to have square root of 3 x squared minus square root of negative 2x, alright? The x is not under the square root sign. This is equal to 0. And this right here is the required equation. And that makes a lot of sense, alright? Okay, I'll be solving questions under logarithms and trigonometry and other topics, other interesting topics as well, and challenging questions as well. Okay, thanks for watching and please subscribe to this channel.